Ohayo gozaimasu, ohayo gozaimasu, Jess desu. I am here to answer your questions again, and this morning I had a question from Lynn. Well, not this morning, but this morning's question is from Lynn, and she asked, what should I do to gain more vocabulary, more Japanese vocabulary? So I said to her a few things. First of all, she needs to look at the vocabulary that she's using every day in her own language, which is English, and look for the vocabulary in Japanese. There's no point learning a load of vocabulary that you're not actually going to be using in day-to-day life until later down, like further down the track. What you want to enable you to speak straight away is to find out what vocabulary you actually use on a day-to-day basis in your own language. So think about day-to-day conversations, the sort of things that you speak to people about, the sort of things that come up. Look those words up. So maybe write a list of the things that you would want to talk about in English or your own native language, and then go to the Japanese dictionary and look up those words. That's one thing that you can do to build your vocabulary. Another thing that you can do, which I like to do, is I'm a tactile person and a visual person. So I like to see and kind of feel the things that I'm trying to learn. So as I walk down the street, I will name the things that I see as I'm walking, and I'll look at them and I'll say the Japanese word for it. So, if I looked at a car, I would say kuruma. If it was a red car, I'd say akai kuruma. Okay, so as I walk down the street, I look at things. If there's something I see and I don't know the Japanese word for it, I take a photo of that thing. Okay, and then what I do is when I have a moment to sit down, I will look through my photos, and then I will go onto a photo editing app, and I will put the name, I will write the name in Japanese of that thing on the photo, and that then creates a load of flashcards for me, because basically what I've done is I've got a photograph of the thing that I found. I then have to look up what it is in Japanese. I then need to write what it is in Japanese on that photograph within an editing app, and I'll write the kanji, the furigana, so the hiragana or katakana, usually hiragana, and then if you need to, you could write romaji, but if you want to learn the language, do try to learn hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And then if there is a recording of that thing on the app that you're using, the Jisho or the dictionary app, listen to that recording and try to repeat it. Then when you've got the photo of this thing, when you next see that thing and you're out and about, quickly listen to that recording again, and then maybe make your own recording. So then video the thing that you saw again, recording your voice of what that thing is. So then you have a pictorial flashcard of that thing. You have a video recording of how to say that thing, and you've already written it as well. So we're covering all the bases there. You've done your listening, your speaking, your reading, and your writing. So that is what I would do to build the vocabulary. Okay, so going back again, the first thing is look at what you actually use on a day-to-day basis. What kind of vocabulary are you using already? So once you've built the vocabulary across that, and you want to then stretch yourself into further vocabulary, further topics, look at topics that you want to be able to talk about. If you want to be able to talk about Pride Month, which was last month, look up ways to talk about sexuality and gay rights and things like that. If you want to be able to talk about Black Lives Matters, look up the Japanese for that. There's lots of people posting now on websites vocabulary to talk about Black Lives Matters in Japanese. So these are the sorts of things. Think about what you want to talk about. Identify the vocabulary in your own language, and then look for that vocabulary in Japanese, and create those lists from there. Then, when you're out and about, take photos of things that you don't know the Japanese for, or even in your house. If you're walking around your house and you don't know Japanese words, take photos of things and then sit down and look through those photos and find out the Japanese words for those things. What you can then do is make post-it notes and stick them all over your house on the thing. So if I had this sitting in the house and I was trying to remember that it's botoru, so bottle in katakana, then I would get a post-it note or a sticky note and I would stick it on there that said the Japanese for this. And every time I looked at that, I would see the Japanese word for it. Okay. So there are different ways that you can build your vocabulary. Now, if you want more tips like this, I am going live 2 or 3 times a week giving these tips. I also have the YouTube channel Nihongo Connection that you can check out the tips. If you have any questions, just send me a direct message with your question or an email, jess@jessicabrowns.com, and I will be able to answer those for you in an upcoming live like this. Okay, I hope that's helped and I speak to you again soon. Mata ne!